Hello, Fast Lego Studios here, and today is the very first week of me building the Lego life-sized Spider-Man sculpture. And yes, you heard me right, I'm going to be building a life-sized Spider-Man sculpture. Now this sculpture is going to be a pretty large build. It's going to be 5'10" to be exact. Taking off the reference from Google, as they told me it's going to be 5'10". This is going to be quite a project that's going to be very interesting to build, and it's going to be a very interesting process of how I'm going to do this, honestly. What I'm planning to do here is make a weekly series of me building this project. Every week I'm just going to upload a video, what progress I've made, the way on how I build this. I'm going to try to adapt to everything on how this life-size project's going to come together. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting build, so without further ado, let's get started. And what I'll be doing here is I'm going to be using a software called BrickR, which is going to convert OBJ files into Lego sculptures, which is going to just create a very, very rough template of what I essentially want the model to look like, and it's going to be having no detail, nothing, but once I add all the detail and everything to the actual model, I'm going to have to freehand it and just look at as much reference pictures as possible here. That's before design goes in such. It's quite an interesting process here. You can see that I've cleared out quite some space here, and that's just because I'm trying to see what kind of parts I have in my inventory of red and blue bricks. But let's move on to those first couple of updates here. Alright guys, so here is the first update. It's been quite some time since the last time I recorded, but here it is. It's quite some building, from nothing to all of this here especially. But jumping right in, what I've done here is for each one of these feet I have a bunch of filler bricks to kind of create stability for all of this kind of building right on top here. And speaking of like stability and such, underneath these bricks you could see there's a bunch of plates. And these plates are made to kind of reinforce all of this here, because if it wasn't for the plates, then this would basically kind of fall apart. And maybe it could hold it together if it was like all bricks, but it would be a lot riskier and a lot harder to build it like that. But yeah, apart from that, you can see the minifigure scale here. And yeah, it's quite large for what I've built here. And taking a look at the design of this, you can see that all the webbing pattern, I've created a plate kind of thing, and then just bricks surrounding it to kind of create the curviness that you could see in front of you, which makes the design look a lot more smoother and nicer transitions for how the webbing forms together. But yeah, that's the current update, and I'll catch you guys in the next update. So here is my progress so far. You can see that I've built quite a lot more bricks here, just adding on layer by layer kind of building method. And one of the things that I've changed between the BrickR software and this is that this I made a much less steep kind of slope here. I felt the BrickR software created like too much steepness up here, so that's one of the major changes that I made here. Apart from that, I really just added a bunch more lines here just to represent the webbing texture, and not much apart than some like different areas where to curve in and curve out. Felt like some of those areas as well needed some improvement upon, so I went ahead and done all that. And taking into consideration here, or to scale with a minifigure, you can see that a minifigure is quite small in comparison to these feet here, which are quite towering already. And not only towering, but they weigh just roughly about 1 pound each, which is quite insane to think about. But yeah, here's the current update. Alright guys, so here's the current update. You can see I've built quite significantly more than the previous update, and the reason being for that is I've really thinned out this area from like going lengthwise to going height-wise, which really made it a lot easier on me, and height has gotten quite nicer. But apart from that, the webbing patterns, I I try to stick to the reference material as much as possible here, so I try to incorporate all 9 lines. Currently I have 8, I believe, so I'm going to have to create one more line here, and then another stack of red bricks. But yeah, that's just about all for that. The density, or how I made it so nicely stable, as I made it significantly more dense here on the inside. You can see that I've used some 2x6 bricks, and here some filler bricks, Technic bricks, and that kind of just stabilized the model. I put those kind of connections here and there between layers, and yeah, that's how I made the structural support. If you keep in mind that I'm using no glue, no armatures or anything to kind of secure everything together, so yeah, this is going to be a pure Lego kind of build. But if I take a minifigure here, you can see that it's quite small here. The minifigure in comparison to these feet are pretty small, and that's just about the update. And we're getting good progress. Alright guys, so here it is. We moved on to so much more here. You can see that it's already like going out of the studio, and I had to zoom back so much because of that. We started building all of this blue bricks just about here. Can't even see them in all of this frame. But what hints that I've used a lot of blue bricks here is those empty containers back there. But yeah, this thing has gotten quite tall. Let me just show you a little bit of how that looks up to its tallest layer to the current time here. You can see that I've built quite a lot there. It's quite hollowed out as well on the inside, because I could have interlocked all these bricks apart from like this area here where there was all the webbing and everything, which had to be interlocked with by a couple layers. I had to interlock bricks and so on and so forth, but this part really kind of turned out to be nice looking, and giving you guys a 360 now of how this foot looks. You can see that there has been quite a lot of parts used in this. To be exact, it's about 50 bricks tall, and the height is 50 bricks tall is what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, this foot has gone pretty tall. For another reference here, I'm going to take a minifigure and put him right about here. And that too shows that this sculpture is very tall, and yeah, we're making quite good progress for our first episode here. But yeah, that is all the time I got time for today. Now let's move out to the conclusion. Alright guys, and here it is. 1 week passed, and this is our progress right here. We've made up to 50 brick layers of progress. It's been quite some fun on how this thing all went together, honestly. Minifigure in comparison, you can see just about right there. It's quite tiny again, just as I mentioned every time in the segment here, but here it is. It's been quite a fun building process. Heavily modified the template from what the computer told me and everything, to all this webbing pattern, to all of that, and so on and so forth. In terms of next week's episode, I'm hoping to start the knees, the thighs, and all that good stuff, so stay tuned for all that. And with that being in mind, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below in the comment section, what do you think of this massive Lego sculpture? And with that being said, thanks guys for watching, and bye.